What is up, Entree fam? Welcome to the Friday Helpcast with me, your hostess with the mostess, Diana Gladney, and I am super pumped and excited to be here before you today, whether you're watching this live or on the replay. Thank you for being here. So this is our what has been regular Friday live helpcast a little bit later in the day. To this time, had a meeting that I wanted to and needed to attend earlier today. So we are here. We're going to be keeping this fairly short today. Hopefully, somewhere there about 30 minutes to an hour. We will see. So if you got any questions, you can go here, pointed it to the right spot the first time. You can go over here to dyna.link/join to be able to hop on. You can do that on your phone, on your computer. It doesn't matter. So if you have some gear, some equipment, and you're like, what does this mean? How does this work? Why is it doing this? And X, Y, and Z, or here's what I'm experiencing, so on and so forth. You can do that. And then also you have the freedom, flexibility to ask your questions in the chat. I'm super pumped and excited to be here to serve you, which is what this Helpcast is dedicated, which is to you, my Entree fam, to help you out as much as possible. We are going to be using StreamYard today. I think I might try something different, depending. So I don't know. Today we're using StreamYard, so we'll roll with it. If you notice the quality drop, it's StreamYard. I can't do nothing about it. So we got Adam's Exploit Coffee mug check from Circle K. My mom gave me this. It's simply great coffee. So, mug check. The thing is, what's in the mug? What kind of coffee is in the mug? My favorite, Colombian roast. That's my personal favorite. I love strong, really strong coffee. We have Eldel 370Z. Good to see you. Glad that you are here. Welcome to the stream. Saying thank you so much, or thank you for all the videos on with the Canon M50. I have learned so much about it. Well, my pleasure. Glad to be of service. I think today I may be able to squeeze in a video. I want to be able. I reset my M50 to factory settings. So when you're first taking the camera out of the box, what am I doing to get my camera set up for video and for live streaming? I think I'm going to go ahead and record and upload that today. I thought about doing that live, but I know questions would come in. People like, go back to that screen. So I'll take some time and do that. But it'll be a pretty straightforward video because I know I'm getting a lot of questions about people asking that. Like, okay, I got it. I got all the gear and stuff like that. And, there's videos on different things, but it's like, how can I really, I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm going to probably try to get that out today because I have my secondary camera, which is the incredible, the amazing Sony A6600. Welcome to the family. Have not come up with a name for these cameras yet. My A6400, what I'm recording on right now. Then I got the A6600 in the building. I'm super pumped and got a lens on the way. So a lot of great things happening in the offices of Entree Woman TV. So I'm feeling some kind of way these days. But yeah, man. So it'll help me. The reason why I wanted to go ahead and get this camera, because eventually I'll be able to go back to doing my production work for clients and things like that as we more safely open up in a way that makes sense, because people still need videos and things have to be done. So this will give me the opportunity, though, instead of being able to talk, I can talk about the camera, do tutorials on it, have one on me, have one on the item and stuff like that. And so as you guys know, I am a Sony shooter. So yeah, man, I'm super pumped and excited to have this camera in the building, and caught it for a great deal too. So super pumped and excited about that. We got Shalise in the house, super pumped. Good to see you. Glad that you are here. So I don't know. I guess I'll read it. Saying, you're saying that's at him. So I guess you said you're hesitant to stream yet, may experiment with the beta software. Hey man, you got to do what you got to do. Do what you got to do. So I just use decent Keurig pods with almond milk. I drink almond milk, so I can dig it. Try to keep my costs around $25 per pod. I just normally brew coffee. That's my thing. We got Ross from Live Stream Universe. Hey, Diana. Or hey, it says hey at Diana. Go, hello, Ross. Good to see you. Glad that you are here. Tish saying hello from Houston, Texas. Hello, Tish. Good to see you. Glad that you are here. So today I said it's pretty much probably going to be more or less a bit of a short, somewhat of a short Helpcast. But if you have any questions, you can drop those in the comments. If you have any things that you're having challenges with, you can drop those in the comments, or you can hop on going to that over there, Diana.link/join will bring you on. You can ask or show your specific thing that you're needing help with or having problems with. So we have Preach on Worship Instrumental. Hello, good to see you. Glad that you're here. Saying, is there any off-brand for the 22 millimeter for the M50? So when it comes to lens options, you don't have to use Canon only lenses. You can adapt lenses, which means, oh, Sigma makes a lens for blah, 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 or there are other types of, lens options, then you can adapt it. So there are other ways instead of just using only a 22 millimeter for the lens. If that's the focal length, you're looking for maybe something that's a little bit cheaper. I mean, you can, hold on, let me wait. I mean, you can, instead of using a 22, you can use something like a 24 millimeter. That is the EFS by Canon. Let me see if I can pull that up on Amazon real quickly. 1 second. All right. But yeah, so if you're not familiar with the Canon lens options, Canon has different mounts. And that means to us as content creators, they have the EF, which is for their full frame. They have EFS, which is for the crop sensor, like 80D, 70D, 90D, stuff like that. And then they have the EFM, which is for the mirrorless, which is for like your Canon M50s, the Canon M6 Mark II, and so on and so forth. So let me share this to the screen, and then we can all take a look, see at what I'm looking at here. And pull your comment down for the moment, and let's share the screen competently. Freaking StreamYard today. Let's see here. All right, boom. So you should be able to see my screen. Actually, let me get this. Yeah, that's fine. All right, so this is the 24 millimeter f2.8, but you'll notice, as I just said, like you have EF, EFS, and EFM. EF is for cameras like the Canon 6D Mark II, the 1DX Mark III, like those huge cameras like that. The 5D Mark IV type cameras. That's for that. They also have lenses like this EFS one here that will fit your Canon 70Ds, your 80Ds, and stuff like that. What you would need is what I don't have on my desk at the moment, which is an adapter for your lens that basically says, we're going to take the autofocus and the electronics and we'll share that with the lens and the camera so that they work as if it was built for it. So you would need an adapter. It is a little bit cheaper than the 22 millimeter, but that'll put you in that same kind of focal range as the 24 millimeter or 22 millimeter for the EFS. It's just a little bit cheaper, probably similar quality and stuff like that. But this is, I guess, as close as it would get. But you have these little adapters, which is kind of what I'm talking about here. It doesn't matter. I use Viltrox. You don't have to get the Canon branded one. I use Viltrox, which should be a little bit cheaper. Actually, this isn't the right one. This is for Sony to Canon, but let's look that up. Let's look up the Viltrox. And then I guess, Enzo, I see you in the back there. I'll be with you in just a second, brother. Bring you on. Let's EF to EFM, I think it's called, or something like that. The adapter. Nope. This. So this is the adapter that would work, which is basically you're going to take those other kinds of lenses like that 24 millimeter, like I talked about. You'll see it has those connection points at the bottom. That way you can take that non-native lens for that's it's not built for the M50, put that lens on there, put the adapter, and then have the camera. So this is one that you can use that will work for you so that you can adapt other types of lenses to the M50 that aren't just going to go straight onto the camera body by itself. So that's what I would suggest for that one there. So if you have any questions more on that, I can dive into that just a little bit more. So I'm coming back to the comments in just a second. We have Enzo, what's up, brother? How you doing? Good to see you.
Hello, Diana. Nice to see you.
We
Nice to be
cannot.
there in the other side
Oh,
of
okay.
this
On a
live.
little bit of. Yes, yes. It's a little bit of a delay on the audio, so it just took a second for me to hear you. So, good to see you. Glad that you're here. Looking good, looking sharp. How can I help?
So thank you first for all your content. Actually, I don't know if I can change the sense of my camera, but I buy a lot of stuff thanks to
Okay.
you. This little M50 there with the 22 millimeter lens.
Mm-hmm.
I was already using Ecam Live, but still using it. We are trying StreamYard too. I see that you're using that right now.
Yep.
So yes, it's really nice. I have this little show online live actually on the French community because I'm French. And yes, it's really nice. I enjoy it a lot. I wait 2 weeks to have this M50.
Wow.
It was really long, really, really long. And
Yeah.
when it finally arrived, the quality was really nice. But I
Awesome.
have two questions for
Mm-hmm.
you today. The first questions, because we are two friends playing with that. One is in Thailand
Okay.
right now, and we both buy the same gear,
Okay.
but we are totally not agree on the mode we have to
Okay.
put it.
Okay.
And I did not find anything online based on that, like what configuration we have to use on the DSLR when we are streaming. So
Okay.
I don't know, what do you recommend to set up?
Okay, I always use, and that's a fantastic question. That's actually something like I had just mentioned a little bit before at the very beginning of the stream about just like how I set my camera up from beginning to end, because
Mm,
it's those little bits of information. I always suggest going into that movie mode, which I don't know if I can even get that to show up anywhere on there. I don't
here,
think so.
this one,
It looks like a little camera
yeah,
icon. So that's the movie mode in the top dial.
yes.
If you're going to be live streaming, I always suggest using that. And the reason why is when you're in photo mode, even if you're in the 1920 by 1080p, which is that standard wide YouTube looking kind of a frame, even if you're having like the photo side of things look like a YouTube frame, you'll still sometimes get those black bars and stuff that'll show up,
Mm-hmm.
and it just doesn't quite do all the things like you're wanting it to. The movie mode is going to make sure you fill the frame properly, and also will give you access to just the movie function specifically that you need when you're live streaming. So if you're going to be live streaming with the M50, even like when I'm using my Sony A6400 right now, I always
Mm-hmm.
use the movie mode because it's just, even though I'm not hitting record, it's still a live video. So I want to access the video specific functions, and I want that frame to be full as if it would be a normal video and stuff like that.
Okay, so that's good because that's what I was using actually. My friend
Okay.
is using the A plus, the A plus mode.
Yes. Yes.
I will tell him to switch and to try with this mode.
Okay.
Alors, specifically, we have two things. There is
Okay.
movie manual exposure or
Mm-hmm.
movie auto exposure.
Mm-hmm.
I choose movie manual
Mm-hmm.
or movie auto. Auto based on the
I
exposure. What do you think?
I think so. If for those that aren't familiar, there is in the exposure mode, which is basically exposure deals with the brightness and the darkness of that overall image. I don't do anything in automatic because I never want the camera trying to decide what the scene should look like or what it should do. I was literally answering a question about this in Instagram DMs earlier today. You
Hmm.
don't want anything really in automatic. As much as you're investing in the equipment, you want to get a specific kind of a look. So auto exposure, if the sun comes out, if it goes away, is always going to say the camera's going to keep adjusting stuff. We don't want that.
Yeah.
So
We
put
want
it
to
in
manage. We
manual.
want to manage. Yeah.
Yep,
Okay.
you want to put it in the manual exposure mode so that you can tell the camera what you want it to be. Like for
Hmm.
example, my ISO, I think it's like maybe at like 500 or 450. I don't know, something like that. I can't really see. But that way, even if the light comes in through the window, it's a little bit brighter. I will decide what changes to make, or I can adjust the lights or something like that. I never want the camera randomly changing stuff because then
Okay.
it'll get super dark. So that's what I would say.
Actually, yes, my friend, so he used this A plus mode, and he tell me, wow, the image is really bright and it's really good, the bright like really nice, and the lens catch a lot of light. And I had the opposite experience. I have two softbox here, one there and another one there that I put when I'm recording. And still, I think my image is a little bit dark.
Okay.
So that's why I was checking a little bit more for this piece of information.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I will try to set that on manual
Okay.
and to put my ISO on I don't know, maybe between 200 and 400 to see what is the result.
Yeah, you want to start low and then like sit down actually in the frame, because you don't want
Yeah.
to be adjusting for the rest of the stuff. Like you get in there, you get the lights on you, and then you can see, are you looking too dark? Are you looking too bright? And then slowly start to adjust it. And then once you find that sweet spot, if you find out that it's like 350 with all the lights that you have on and everything, just know
Mhm.
that every time when you get ready to stream around that time of day or whatever, 350 is going to be like your magic number.
Yeah, actually, I can. This is my studio, actually.
Okay, that's dope.
uh, and I have only this small window here
Okay,
and
cool.
the two softbox
Mm-hmm.
working. So most of the time, it's all the time the same ISO because I don't record the night. So most
Okay,
of the time,
got you.
it's the same light.
Got you. So you'll probably start at a
Okay.
lower ISO, start at 100, and then go from there.
Okay. I had a little experience. Maybe I can share that with you. So I'm waiting this Amazon package to arrive, every day checking the post, every day checking the tracking number. And the first thing to arrive, let me see if I still have the box here. The first thing to arrive was really surprising and really disappointing. Actually, the first thing to arrive was the lens. So
Okay.
I only add the lens and not the camera. And the camera made something like 1 week more before to arrive.
Mm.
But yesterday, no, 2 days ago, I put the gear on and I start to record. And there I have a Brio, Logitech Brio 4K,
Logitech
and
Brio. Yep. Yep.
and the quality of the Brio was better than the M50, and I was like, no, how is that possible?
Yep, you got to dial those settings in. The biggest thing, though, when it comes to quality, and then I got to bring Frank on because I know he's sitting there waiting for a moment. But the biggest thing with the quality, though, especially like kit lenses are going to look great. A lot of the M50 videos that I've done, a lot of that was shot on like super cheap lenses and a lot of the kit lens, honestly. But you can dial in that look, your lighting, the white balance. The more specific that you start to get, the more that you really start to create a look that looks really great. And it may surprise a lot of you guys. A lot of even some of the recent videos that I've been making have been on kit lenses and been on super, super cheap lenses. So it's like you can do a lot with a little. It's just a matter of dialing it in. But that the Brio looks good, but it's like you can definitely get a little bit more out of that M50 though.
Yeah, actually, I was in live a few minutes ago, and I think now with this mode and this setup, so I put one on 40, and I put, of course, 2.0
Okay.
for
F2.0 aperture. Yep.
yeah. And I have really a nice quality, and actually a lot of the viewers was really amazed about the quality. So thanks you, of course, Diana. You really should take the cheat list Diana put on the description right there with all the setups. I only can recommend you the good work that she did with this PDF. So take it, enjoy it, guys. And maybe before to leave, on a small question.
Okay.
I really I am tear apart, with this problem with Ecam Live and StreamYard. I
Okay.
really like StreamYard. It's really easy to bring people on the live,
Mm-hmm.
really easy to make the people see what's happened in the back office, and it's really nice because I make a lot of interview stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But how you do to use this quality on StreamYard? I don't. How to
So
put the DSLR?
it's the thing is though, it's like when you're trying to bring in like that quality from Ecamm to share it with StreamYard for that ease of use. I mean, honestly, it's like unless if I wasn't doing the Helpcast, if and I know Ecamm is working on a way to just have a link to bring in guests, so that's coming. It should be probably dropping in a couple months maybe. So that is coming. So I would say keep your eye out for that. there's really no way to get around the quality drops that you're having with StreamYard. There's really not much else that you can do. If, like a $1,500 setup that I'm using with lights and all of that stuff that gets it up into a few $1,000s, is still not going to be enough to get, like, there's really nothing you can do about it. It's on StreamYard's end being a browser-based kind of a thing. So the best that you can do is the best that you can do. But you can try other things. That's what I was saying. I think this might be the last one I might use with StreamYard potentially. And I want to try out like Restream.io that has the ability to bring in with a link. So you can try that,
yes,
or you can just...
It's beta. They're just launching that right now.
Yep, it's in beta. Yep.
I have Stream.io too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So right now, what you use to choose the cam? You use eCam Live and you use Virtual Cam. You put it inside StreamYard. Is that?
No, I'm just using my capture card. I'm not using...
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just using the capture card. I'm not using eCam Live at all for the Helpcast right now.
Okay, great. But I will not take you more time. Thank you for your help. Hello for all the community, and thank you for the good work, Diana.
All right. Thanks so much, Enzo. Pleasure having you on.
Bye.
Bye. Super pumped all the way from, I think, said France. Holy cow. But we got Frank. Frank will bring you on in 3, 2... What's up, Frank? Good to see you.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. I'm good. How are you?
Doing awesome. Awesome. Good to see you. Glad you're here. How can I help?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm a total newbie.
Okay.
And after like weeks of researching, I bought the M5, M50.
Okay, dope.
And then I thought I wanted to have an ultra wide perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how you call it. It's the EFS 10
to 18. Yep.
Yeah. And then obviously there was an adapter missing, so I had to buy that as well. Waited for that. So now I've got it on here, and I've got the cable in.
Mm-hmm.
And then because of Corona or COVID, there aren't the usual capture cards. I had a friend who used to use Blackmagic Design something, and he swore on that. But you can't buy those anymore at the moment because they're all sold out somehow.
Yep.
So I got some kind of no-name thing, and I don't know if it's correct. It says USB 3.0, 1080p, 60 FPS capture. Sounds good.
Sounds about right. It's hard to know when it comes to those third-party brands.
Okay, so I just stuck the cable in. And once I stuck the cable in, the screen of the camera goes black. Is that normal?
Yes. So when you're connecting, and that's the thing, like I was saying about one of the recent videos I did about the M50, like kind of like before you get started with live streaming kind of tips, it doesn't naturally in the camera have the ability to do clean HDMI, right? So that's why you're having to do so many hacks. Some brands still have where that the screen goes off, but that's normal with the M50. There's no real way around that unless you're using a USB method. So you do want to kind of like dial in your settings and all of that before you connect it. Huh?
What are the settings?
It's not really any specific ones that I'm saying. It's just like, so for example, I could tell you exactly what I use, but with all the light that you have, your complexion and the colors that you're wanting, it may not be the right setting. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of hard to say, oh, change it
regarding
to this,
the image quality. I get that, but do I need to put it on photo or on video?
No, it's have it in the movie mode. I think I saw, like, if you put your phone back up to it, I think you had it in movie mode already. That's the right thing. Yep, that's perfect.
And then I'm new to cameras. I only know like mobile cameras.
Go ahead and turn it on. We can look at the screen and see what's happening.
I need to put out the
HDMI. Yep.
So then I put it on.
Yep.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So we got a few things going. Can you still hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Perfect. Okay. So I can see your shutter speed is at 1/125. That's kind of high. Well, it's kind of really high. And then your ISO is also set to automatic. And so when it comes to that, the f5.6 is not a whole lot that you can do about with that, because that's going to change as you're zooming in or out with your lens. So we need to adjust.
It's like a two-person podcast.
Okay.
Like 2 people, 1 and 2.
Yep.
And this should be the wide angle shot. And then I've got another Canon camcorder for the headshot of the guest speaker.
Yeah. So that's fine. It's like the only thing is like if you're shooting in, you should only be at 1/125 for the shutter speed if you're shooting in 60 frames per second. Are you doing that intentionally?
No, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm probably going to go ahead and upload that video a little bit later because you're the second person I'm seeing that kind of has very similar settings to that.
I just put in the battery, and
Turn it on.
Question is like how I've got the battery in, and how do I? Is there a way of like keeping it on live and on battery with because I can't open this and exchange it with when it's in the tripod because like.
You're gonna need a battery bank. So all those are dedicated videos on the channel. So number one, you're gonna need a different battery. Not just a because the battery's not going to last long enough for you to live stream.
Yeah,
Power adapter.
Is that on your channel or is there a checklist?
Already on the channel. A whole video about it.
Okay, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. It's a lot, so I get it. It's completely fine. So that's the one solution to that. I'll say look out for the video a little bit later today. I'm going to walk you through. I'll probably record it as soon as this is over because, like I said, you're not the first one showing me that. You're going to need to adjust the settings on the camera. So that one
video on that as well.
I'm going to do it today. I promise that. Okay. I'll upload it. I'll start recording it and upload it later today as soon as this is over.
And a bad capture card. What can happen if I have like a no-name one? How would I know if it's not useful enough?
I would say it's only bad if it doesn't work. It's not any way to really that I found like where it'll mess your camera up or no stuff like that. It's just a matter of if it works. Issues? I'm sorry, say that again.
Latency issues with M50 or with capture cards or like, because I've got my audio, I've got the Rodecaster for podcasts.
If you're feeding, so here's the thing with that, you shouldn't have any latency, but if you do, what are you using to stream with for software?
Wirecast.
Okay. As sophisticated as Wirecast is, they probably have somewhere within the audio settings. It's not one I'm super familiar with at all.
Delay.
You should be able to adjust your audio latency in software. Sometimes softwares like OBS, Ecamm Live even has it. Go into the audio settings and see, like, if you notice it's about a second or two, start slightly adjusting it, do some tests, and just see if you can dial that in. That way, you know, when you get ready to live stream using all the things that you're using, you need to say, like, it needs to be up 2 notches to get the audio in sync. I can't say what causes that. Sometimes it's computer issues. Sometimes it can be with the capture card. I don't know. But you need to go through and test with the audio and see if you can adjust those latency issues. That's not uncommon. It's just something to try to go through and figure out and test with.
Okay.
Okay. What other questions do you have when it comes to that? Because you can have the 2 angles and the audio separate and all of that. I'll do that video a little bit later today to go ahead and get the settings right, because what I'm seeing on your camera screen, more or less, you're probably in some kind of automatic mode. Yeah,
I haven't changed anything yet.
Yep. So your camera is trying to decide what to do. That's not what we want. So in this same office setup, I'm going to go through. You may need to make some slight tweaks, but I'm going to go through and I'll tell you what to change it to, what your menu things should be at, so that you can adjust that. Because one, your shutter speed doesn't need to be that high unless you're trying to shoot at 60 frames per second, which is like that football sports kind of a look, ESPN kind of a look. If you don't want that, don't shoot there. That means we need to go to a different, some different video settings in the camera. And then your ISO, that box in the bottom right of your camera screen, is saying auto. That means as the light changes, as it gets bright or get dark, your camera is just deciding what to do. We don't want that either, because if somebody gets up and leaves the stream and comes back, lights are going to flicker. It's going to start jumping and all of that. We don't want that. So we need to adjust and tell the camera what to do specifically. Okay.
Mm-hmm. All
right. So if you have,
so if I get you right, then the camera settings, you're going to load a video and there's a checklist and there's more content than that. I just went on your website because actually, to be honest, I've noticed you like twice, and I had you on my to-do list because you seem very friendly. I just went on your website. So you're more like, in general, also an entrepreneurs, right?
Yes, I do video editing and production. That's my full-time job and income, just running my own company. And then I do YouTube as a side to that.
Okay. So I don't know if that's a question that you have an opinion on. I like the background, the whole setting of the. Well, this is just for starting, like in 1 or 2 months I wanted to change.
Yep.
I got some curtains and
Cool. Perfect.
What I don't like, these are like 2 office tables. Do you have any idea? Like I was thinking more like of an urban style, but yeah, general settings. If for two-person podcast, should they be sitting opposite each other, next to each other? Yeah, things like that.
Based on the angle that I'm seeing for what you have, the way you have your camera, the way you have the equipment, everything seems fine. The only thing I would say is your microphones, because audio is going to be far more important than the video, completely honest with you, when it comes to that kind of setup. Your audio is going to be way more important than the video. So depending on what you need for your microphone setups and how it kind of looks best for y'all to sit from each other, one person can be on one corner and then the other person's real close. It just depends on, like, when you guys sit down, what's comfortable, where do your mics need to be? And then you can get like little tabletop, things. So it's not this scissor arm attached to the desk. We can just set it on the desk and we can, we're good to go. So I would say, like, actually sit down and see, like, are we comfortable talking to each other like this? Or do we feel like we're turning sideways and it's kind of weird? You want to be comfortable, and then adjust the camera angles and stuff like that. As far as the curtain that's behind you, if anything, I would probably move your desk up a little bit. You can splash some light on that, or you can keep it as is. It doesn't matter. But that way you have some separation between you and the wall, or you and your background. You don't want to be like super, super that close to it. Just bring it up just even slightly.
Like further away is better, right?
You just want to bring it close up, just so you got some distance between you and the background. And that's really honestly just to give some depth to the image. You can record in a small space, but now it's just visually dialing that in and making it look a little bit better. So just pull it up just slightly. It didn't have to be much.
Okay. And the soundproofing, should that be opposite of the audio source, or doesn't really matter? Or
so I'm not like a super sound engineer person. And Edison, I do see you in the background there, brother. I'll be pulling you up shortly. So when it comes to audio, you got curtains. You got, looks like potentially, what kind of floor? Is it carpeted?
It's like an office.
Okay, that's cool. So you have enough things around you to kind of absorb some sound. You probably going to have to watch some dedicated videos on YouTube about that, specifically like where to place it. But the thing that is going to be more important than that is the kind of microphone. I have an airplane that just went over.
Newer?
I'm familiar with Newer, but it's like, I'm not brand specific. I'm audio type specific. So like, I use this kind of a microphone, a dynamic microphone, so that when this airplane that just went over comes over, it doesn't sound like the room is shaking and it's an earthquake happening, or somebody slams a door on the street or something like that. You guys don't hear that. So it's not going to be so much so, like, you can adjust for that little bit of difference with the audio, sound paneling, and getting that stuff like that. Check your microphones. Don't use a condenser microphone. Completely honest. Don't use one.
Microphone.
Don't do it.
No.
It's going to pick up every sound in the room. Seriously. It's like, if you're already recording in a small space, it's not sound treated. My walls are not sound treated at all. Like, I got some curtains, a little bit of, furniture. You can use some things to absorb it. I would say probably put a little bit of a curtain or something in front of you, if possible, just to kind of catch that sound, depending. But at the same time, your microphone can make a huge difference where you can't add in those audio panels and stuff like that. Do what you can. Like I said, you're gonna probably have to do some research on that for sure, just to see how sound bounces off the wall, what it's doing. But if you can't do much, or until you can, get a dynamic microphone. Don't use condensers. Condenser microphones are going to be for sound treated rooms. If you don't have a sound treated room or studio, don't even bother with it. It's honestly a waste of money, because now you're trying to figure out, well, crap, you can hear everything. Yeah, that's a studio based microphone.
Okay, thanks.
My pleasure. Hey, Frank, if you're on Instagram and you need more help, hit me up over there.
It doesn't make click yet. I feel
Okay.
like an old guy.
Do it. So, but if you need more help though, specifically, hit me up on Instagram DMs. I could probably dive in a little bit more for you. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
All right. My pleasure. Take care, man. Edison, brother, I see you in the background. Real quick, let me jump through these comments, and then I'll be bringing you on in just a second. All right. So everybody that said hello, good to see you. Glad that you're here. Okay, let me jump back up real quick. So we have Tarek Istin, good to see you. Glad that you're here, saying how to manually set up the audio on the M50 on 20 decibels. You basically just need to go into the audio settings, into the setup menu, and you'll be able to take it out of auto and put it in manual. And then you increase that slightly. You need to actually go in the settings in the audio to adjust that specifically. If you're trying to get it specifically to 20 decibels, like you need to manually adjust that. Adams, you're asking, Ecamm has the ability to send out invites for panel streaming. I'm not sure what you mean by that exactly. I know it's been some updates. I haven't had time this week to honestly play around with whatever recent updates there are. But what I was referring to specifically is dealing with just like being able to send an invite via a link. I don't think that has released just yet. Right now, to my understanding, without looking at the updates this week past what updated with Zoom and that getting fixed with the virtual camera, I'm not sure what other stuff is out there, honestly. So we'll have to see. You're saying StreamYard. You're using StreamYard now, but disappointed with the quality. I need a new PC to use vMix. I feel you. Kalai Smith TV, good to see you. Glad you're here. And we'll take on Ross's question real quick. The rest of you guys asking questions and so forth, I promise I will get to you in just a minute. But my brother from another mother has been holding back in the back office for a minute there, so I got to bring him on real quick. But I do answer all questions, so know that even if you need to hop off, your question will still be answered later in the stream. So Ross is asking, how do you recommend adjusting color temperature of an LED light for mixing with natural light during the day and at night when they are only? What kind of a question is this, Ross? This is like one of those questions when you were in school, and it's like if Johnny had 3 sunflower seeds in his pocket and a train was coming at 70 miles per hour, but then the train stopped. Like that's what that feels like. Okay, so let's break this down real quick. When it comes to adjusting lighting, I'll summarize this a little bit. When it comes to adjusting lighting, the daylight temperature is going to constantly shift as the time of day shifts. Where the sun is it warmer? Is it cooler? Are the clouds out? Are they not? Are you in the shade? Are you not? Like all of that. That is why I opt 90% of the time to close the windows and be in a controlled lighting environment. If I cannot, then I want to figure out what type of white balance just even looks normal. This is where stuff like this gray card, even like before I did this live stream, I always, like before I'm doing anything, I adjust my white balance. In every camera, mirrorless wise, you can adjust the white balance so that you can see it has a white or gray. I use the gray side, whatever, so that I can say to the camera, like, fix this, fix it. All the lights that's going on in here, what should the white balance be? Use this and adjust for it. I'm not even going to go into the science for it. Just use it. Like straight up, it's like $9. And then based on so I keep my lighting at 4,500 kelvins regardless. I use the same 2 softbox lights. One's at 40%, one's at 60%. And that's to adjust for the brightness of myself and accounting for lighting behind me. So if I'm mixing lights, something has to go. I really don't want to mix lights a whole bunch simply because it's bright and brown outside or amber color. It's a bluish, whitish kind of a look indoors. I'm not trying to mix that and let it, so pick one and adjust for one as best as you can, or minimize and block out light as best as you can when it comes to that kind of a stuff. So, all right, looks like Edison dropped for a minute. So I'm going to keep going through the comments real quick. All right, so we can keep rolling. I don't know what happened, Edison, but he dropped off. All right, so but that's what I would say when it comes to lighting. Like, you got to pick one. If I turn the ceiling light on and then this is a different color, and then no, I even went to the extent of buying different light bulbs because the light bulbs that are in your house are usually like orangish, yellowish kind of a thing. It's not what you want. I picked daylight temperature light bulbs to go in the ceiling in the office. And then because I can adjust the lighting in my room to the temperature that I want or whatever, like the lights are set, the LED light panels are set to what looks best for my skin tone. So once I use the gray card to adjust for the white balance as a whole, it's the lights are set for me, the subject. It's set for me and my office. If the sunlight isn't working for me that day, we're closing the windows. We're not using it. If we're in an environment like, let's say, an office space, then, and it's just like, it's one of those big, huge light panels you can't do anything with. The best that you can do is now let's try to mimic what the daylight is doing, because that's going to supersede whatever we're trying to do with LED light panels. So if the sunlight is super harsh, it's a lot of it. There's no real way to block that. Let's go ahead and try to mimic what the daylight temperature of the environment of where we are and what that's doing. So that's what I would suggest. Eldell is saying it will be amazing if you can make a tutorial video on how to have a guest on a YouTube live video. Honestly, since YouTube got rid of Google Hangouts, I don't know what they're doing. I know it's gotten kind of weird. I haven't wanted to mess around with it. It's gotten weird, honestly. I don't know what the deal is with bringing on a guest on YouTube. Honestly, just because they got rid of Google Hangouts, so the ease of use kind of went away. I think they're probably trying to rebirth that through probably like Google Meet or something. So I'll take a look and see what's going on with it and see how to help with that. Ross, you're saying I use Wirecast virtual camera with StreamYard. Yeah, so if you're using anything like that, then I would just say, yeah, I adjust in camera first, the lighting, white balance, stuff like that. And that way, whatever the software is picking up, the hardware is doing most of the heavy lifting anyhow. So that's my thing. So Armando, good to see you. Glad that you're here, saying, I'm a karate teacher. How can I set up the Sony A6400 for streaming? So I literally just got my A6600 in the mail yesterday. And so that'll help a lot with being able to do angles and being able to film the cameras and so forth. So that should help now. I'll have something that I can use to record myself, because I didn't want to use the M50. It looks different. Like it just is different. So that'll be coming, I guess. I can add that to the list. I already had it written down, but it's just like trying to prioritize what should be needing the most help, but I'll put that down. How can you set it up for streaming? It's a lot to the A6400, to be honest with you. It's the same rules apply. That's the biggest thing with using your camera, a real camera for live streaming. You really want to honestly know how to use the overall camera, get the basics down. ISO, shutter speed, the frame rate, locking that stuff in, knowing what those should be. And then beyond that, it's just connecting the camera to share with connecting the camera to the computer to share what the camera is actually seeing. That's literally all live streaming is. I have my camera. These are the settings that it needs to be. I'm using a capture card or a virtual camera or something as this connection point to be able to share that live. If the settings look trashy on the camera, it's going to be the camera's fault, not the software. So I'll see what I can do about that. Because again, it's like my biggest thing is it's hard for me to tell y'all use this specific setting. But I'm gonna try to. I will honestly try to think of something and I'm gonna just give a basic template out, so that the only thing that you should need to change is your white balance and your ISO. So I will do that when it comes to this M50 video. I'll do it again for the A6400 when it comes. I can't show you everything about the A6400 because it's literally a computer. But when it comes to those two cameras, and then probably for the A6600 now, I'll try to get it to the point dialed in. So all y'all have to do, figure out your white balance and then figure out your ISO. Everything else should pretty much stay locked in from there. But that's what I would honestly say. Your video settings are what's going to be important. Adam's saying I couldn't get the M50 to work properly with Sparko Cam using the Elgato 4K using HDMI. Not sure what to tell you, brother. As y'all know, like I said, I talk about Sparko Cam as an option. It's not one that I use. It's not one that I've ever used because That's why I bought a Mac so I could use Ecamm Live. Honestly, I don't know what to tell you. Honestly, you can try that webcam utility thing by Canon and see if that works, but we'll see. Enzo saying thanks for the thanks to share. Oh wait, thanks to share. Thanks for the value. My pleasure. Glad to be of service. I'm the Brown saying hi all. What model camera did he have? So everybody that hopped on thus far was M50 thus far. Nad EDW, good to see you. Glad that you're here. Saying this is really helpful, Diana. I will be looking out for that video on camera settings later. Good vibes. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. And then that's another thing. While y'all are here in the comments, and even unless you're sneaking in from work, then stop working and hop over to the comments. First of all, hit the like button, but hop over to the comments. Let me know. So again, I'm going to be recording this. Basically, you just pull your camera out the box. What do your settings need to be? I'm not going to do that with the A6400 because it's literally so much, but I'll see how I can probably break that down a little bit because Sony's have so much more going on for it, honestly. But the M50 video will drop today. But what do y'all need help with the most right now? What do you need help with your camera stuff the most, or what's frustrating you the most? And then that will tell me what you need next for a video for me to be able to best serve the community. So let me know, please. Mac, the DJ.com. I don't know what happens when you go there. So it's probably just his website, but good to see you. Glad that you're here. So anyone having a lagging problem with the M50 webcam utility and OBS? If you have that answer, help a brother or a sister out there. Because I don't know. I don't use OBS. I don't touch it with a 10-foot pole. So I have no idea. So if y'all know, help somebody out. Nad, is it Nad or let me know if I'm saying it wrong, but it's saying, yes, I also have lagging issues with the webcam utility and OBS. Yeah, I don't know. I don't use that at all. So Chocolate Twist Yoga is laughing. I don't know why, but good to see you. Glad that you're here. Rebecca Franklin, good to see you. Glad you're here. Saying, what is the brand of the pop filter you are using? This golden thing and all of that. That pop filter is called the Cisno, CISNO something or another. Is actually sold out. I just checked yesterday because I had a client that asked me about that also. Basically, all this is like the boom arm you can get from anywhere. That's like $12 on Amazon. But this part, I think they have one similar, but let me see if I can find that link real quick. Because all it is just like a rubber band kind of suspension thing so that as I move the microphone, y'all don't hear a bunch of handling noise and stuff like that. And then this just breaks that air up. So I'll try to find that and throw that link in the comments. But this one specifically is sold out and it said it was unavailable. They didn't know when it was going to be back in, stock, which is freaking everything on Amazon. Delivery dates have changed to eventually, it's like June 27th. It's just like, what the hell is happening? Like straight up. So here's the link here. I'll drop this in the copy link. I'm gonna drop this in the chat real quick. So y'all have this pop filter thingy. This is very similar, but it's not the exact one because the exact one I use is sold out. All right, next question. So Ross, in regards to your lighting, saying my shades are down during the day, but they still don't block out the natural light. Then you just need to adjust, which I said, you said like 4,900 kelvins. That's fine. The only thing is like, you're going to need to adjust the white balance. If you're using a camera, or even if you are using a web camera, most of those have a slider to make it warmer or cooler. You're going to have to adjust that white balance setting to make sure that it's something that looks normal to your skin and the environment. Like sometimes if I get the white balance wrong, that blanket back there, it won't be white like it actually is. It'll look like yellow. That's not yellow. It's like, I notice when I see that thing is looking off, I'm like, crap, the white balance is off. Even I'll notice for myself, like I was on a meeting earlier, I didn't have time to adjust the white balance. I look freaking orange. like straight up orange. And I'm just like, white balance. So regardless as to what light sources, if you're at 4900, you can either put a blackout curtain that like you can just use clips or something so that you can bring it up and bring it down for like the streaming part of things. But that's what I would use, the blackout curtain, if you need to. I think those are like $8 or $10 sometimes at Walmart, but I would use that. But you're going to need to adjust the white balance. If you're using a real camera, this gray card is what you're going to need to really adjust that white balance. Adam's saying, I've used StreamYard for about 35 lives, but I'm disappointed. The quality is only 720p. The lag, the latency, browser-based systems are always going to be a problem. Absolutely always going to be a problem. And that's the thing. Like I use StreamYard for the sake of y'all being able to come on live as soon, and I do mean as soon as Ecamm drops for you to be able to come onto a live stream using a link. We're going to be going right back home to Ecamm Live, because that's the only thing with StreamYard. Honestly, for me, it works for some people if they're using a webcam or whatever. Like some people are like, well, what's the difference? Is it that big of a deal? Like I'll show you. This is what the web camera looks like on my MacBook. So if I was using a web camera, this is what this looks like. Completely different looks. All the lighting, nothing's changed or what have you, but it looks essentially worse. And so now when I switch over to my Cam Link, even though I'm pushing out 1080p, it doesn't change. It's still going to be 720p because that's what StreamYard is limited to. So it's not a whole lot you can do with browser-based systems. You're always going to have some issues with that, but that's, some of the give and the take with it. Ease of use, maybe reliability, but suffering for the quality. So that's what I would say. Rob Balasabas, good to see you, brother. Glad you're here. I was actually just on his live stream this week. So I'm not sure what happened to the YouTube link. Rob, let me know. I know it's on LinkedIn. I know it's on Facebook somewhere in the group, I think. But Rob from TubeBuddy, good to see you. Glad you're here. So I'm indoors for almost 100% of my YouTube videos, except when I'm at live events and conferences. And you're saying when we could do live conferences and stuff. Yeah. So that's the only thing. So yeah, if you're 100% indoors, like 99.98% of my videos, then it's just like you should be able to adjust the lighting and like really dial that in so that you know what it is. Like I'm a big fan, like when I'm working with my coaching clients, getting you a cheat sheet for your videos. There's not a general one really that I could come up with. I'll probably make one and put it in the link in the description of that video later today to try to get you as best as I can. But the thing with video is it's not an exact science. It's more or less kind of getting into an art. You may like your skin tone more orange than it naturally is, or more yellow than it naturally is in person. You may like it less saturated and less orange. And you know what I'm saying? Hell, you might want to do your streams in black and white. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, so what your things and your stuff looks like is pro-choice completely. It's just all your choice of what you want. So for me to say it has to be at these settings, it's just going to be really a guide. That's the only thing when it comes to that. We got Dean Reynolds in the house. Good to see you. Glad you're here. Saying, Diana, you made my skin tones look so much better. I look so much better because of your amazing tips last week. Well, my pleasure. Always a pleasure. All right. So I don't think the link worked. But basically, yeah, I don't think the link worked for the other thing that I was trying to show y'all. It said it was a problem. Freaking StreamYard, man. I'll tell you, so I can show you. I can show you better than I can tell you. So I'll try to drop that somewhere. So this is what I was saying earlier about the microphone. It's just this rubber band kind of suspension system thingy, so that you can have your microphone suspended in this kind of a thing. And then this one is a little bit bigger. It looks kind of a little bit weirder, honestly. But this one, like I said, is by a company called Cisno, CISNO. It's just unavailable doesn't know when it's going to come back in stock, and hashtag all the things. So I don't know what's up with that specifically, but part of the issues of freaking COVID-19, unfortunately. So real quick, let's go to, all right, so questions. Okay, Travis, good to see you. Glad that you're here. What is satires or something like that? Do you mean camera settings? Would you like to discuss camera settings? I don't know what the SATYRS thingy Baba is, but that's that. So let me know what that is. And Mr. 305 for real saying I'm at work. LOL. I'm telling you, that's how I got to the point I could quit the daggone job that I had at the bank last year. Just telling you, 2016 up to 2019, just head down and looking at tutorials, trainings, journaling, all of that. So a lot can be done at work when they aren't looking. Saying, Lauren, good to see you. Glad that you are here. Saying, hello, how can I add a window from another application into the Ecamm Live window? Attempting to overlay another application window from while showing two camera angles. That's a real specific question. So I may have to ask you to reframe that, because it's like if you're trying to bring in a window like a Chrome window or an internet browsing window, it's just like sharing the screen of the thing. That sounds stupid as hell, but it's really just like sharing the screen of the thing. And that's honestly really what it is. It's not a whole lot to it. When you're doing Ecamm, it's really a couple modes. So what I do is I will create, and I'm trying to see how I can bring this up without it going berserk, because I got a lot running on my computer, and if I get too haywire, y'all just hold on. Okay, just hold on. Pause for the cause. Let's see if I can bring up Ecamm Live and not have my computer start wheezing and freaking pass out. So I'm going to try to share real quick my Ecamm Live window. It'll probably get a little choppy. Just bear with me. I think I'll be able to get a new MacBook Pro next month. So y'all say a prayer for your girl. So let me share my screen, and I'll try to share that with you. And then let's see here. Scenes. All right. So you should be seeing, hopefully, the Ecamm. Yeah, perfect. All right. So what you're looking at right now is this is the scenes box in Ecamm Live. I create these as templates. Like your scenes window, I set this up specifically for myself as a template. At no time, once I figure something out, do I want to keep trying to figure something out. I am a big stickler for systems. If something that is not fitting into a system, I don't want to continue to use it, because it gets inefficient, it gets frustrating, it gets super hard as hell to figure out. So when I want to share a PDF, a presentation, all I got to do is hit run that scene or replace scene for template. That's what I want to do. If I want to do an interview, I've created scenes so that interview stuff is set up. If I'm doing a live show, I have where it shares the screen to share a website. So all it is, though, is honestly, you're sharing your screen of your computer. It's best when you have two not camera screens, but two monitors, so that you can, more easily navigate through your windows and all of that stuff specifically. But that's what you want to do, is just really just sharing the screen. Let me try to adjust real quick, and I want to share with y'all one more, and then I'm gonna turn this Ecamm off, because it's got my computer wheezing, getting ready to pass out there a bit. So you'll see it chop up a little bit. Just pause for the cause. Old computer. And so here we go. I'm gonna share with y'all Ecamm Live real quick, and you should be able to see that in just a moment. All right. So this is Ecamm Live. Up here, when I say share your screen, you have this one right here, which is going to share the video. The video is going to be what you're seeing right now, which is me on screen. If I click the share the screen, it should share a specific screen that you want, or it could share your desktop. It could share whatever, you know what I'm saying? So you can specifically set that up for you. The other one, this third one is going to be to share a movie, share a video, or something like that specifically. So all I'm going to do is set up a new scene, and I'm getting ready to close out all of this. And I have to do dedicated tutorials on all this stuff because it honestly is too much to really dig into specifically. But you want to create where you have, all you need to do is click one button and it shares your website screens, or it shares a program window and all of that. You should not be having to refigure out things 27 times over. You know what I'm saying? Like when you get ready to share, it's like, oh, how do I do this? I'm not thinking that much. Honestly, when I'm doing my stuff, systematize. So if you're trying to share a program, set up a scene so that it's like sharing, like you saw I had one that said Keynote. So when I open Keynote and I want to share a presentation through Keynote, it's already optimized. That scene is optimized for that. And so it's a lot in a little bit. And then I know it got some lag and, caught up there for a moment. But yeah, that's what I would say when it comes to that kind of stuff. Mr. 305 saying, are you using the Canon M50 right now as a live? No, I'm using my Sony A6400 and my 35mm lens. You have Anthony 123 saying Ecamm is the best. Yes, it is. Nothing compares. Nothing compares in my opinion. Legit. Dean saying my Canon M50 is not showing up with the Magewell capture card on your MacBook Pro. Can't say why that would be. The Magewell is not one I've had experience with, honestly. So I'm not sure what's the reason for that kind of a thing. Some of those capture cards require software, like you got to install or drivers or something like that. So especially like with companies, unfortunately, that's the one thing with COVID-19 is like customer service is getting worse for some companies, a lot of companies. And there's a lot of figuring out for yourself. Check Reddit, check the forums, and see what you can find specifically for what's what, because that stuff is hitting up like crazy right now. All right. So, Tish, you're saying, I have Ecamm Live too. You're new to it, doing your first live stream on Sunday. Awesome. So, Shadow Family Vlogs, good to see you. Glad that you are here. Saying hi, everyone. New here. Well, welcome to the Entree fam. Glad that you are here. And Rebecca saying, thanks, Dan. I'll watch your filter recommendation. Yeah, so that link did come up. I know it showed up on YouTube and Facebook. So, but that's the link for the pop filter that I was talking about. To you and me, good to see you. Glad you're here. Saying hello, Diana. Thank you. You're very welcome, and welcome to the stream. Welcome to the Entree fam. And Chocolate Twist Yoga saying thank you for breaking down the white balance. I'll play with that on my Sony. My pleasure. Frank, I see you in the background there. Let me know if you need some help or something. I think I saw something in the private chat, so let me know if I need to check back in with that. It'll pop up once you throw a comment up there, so let me know. Tish saying, question, where are you going to stream? Oh, y'all talking in the chat. It's like, ain't no church happening today. So, but Ross saying, thank you. My pleasure. Adam saying, I do 98% of the live streams, so it's an issue. Yeah, honestly, when it comes to these platforms, the softwares and the tools and hashtag all the things, like you really got to figure out what's what when it comes to that kind of stuff. Like, what should you use? What should you not use? If 720p is a big issue, then unfortunately, what I'm saying, like, you got to see what's worth it. Is it worth it? You know what I'm saying? Like, don't use it, maybe. Honestly, straight up. So I got a 2:00 appointment. I am late for. Time got past me. Answer this last question, saying the Cutting Edge TV. Good to see you. Glad you're here. Saying, what computer are you using right now for your live stream? What are the specs? Too old and faithful. 2013 MacBook Pro. No specs. Honestly, it was built to do none of the things that I do it for. Honestly, it just honestly is it's too old. it's not built for it at all. I was like 8 gigabytes of RAM or something like that, but it does what it should do. So, all right, Frank. So I see you're talking about the issue, having an issue with the M50. So I will say if you go to the website, dianagladney.com, that should work. But that link specifically for the guide, he was asking about the M50 guide. I'm going to throw that in the chat. And I have to run, guys. I apologize. I got to cut the stream short because I'm late for another meeting that I have to go to. So with that, my friends, live with passion. We will do this again, not next Friday because I have another meeting, unfortunately. So I won't be able to do the Helpcast Friday at noon or it may be a little bit later in the day. So we'll see, maybe at 1 o'clock or what have you. So but any further questions and stuff like that, guys, you can hit me up on Instagram. You can reply, throw your comment again down in the thingy baba. What is it? The comments under the video. You can do that there. But guys, I'm so sorry I couldn't answer all the questions. I really do have to run, unfortunately. But again, as you guys know, I'm super accessible. Drop your comments underneath. So if I didn't answer you in the live stream, just repost it there. I will get to it. I assure you. So with that, guys, live with passion. I'll see y'all in the next broadcast. Take care.